Hey, what's going on, my hammies? Thank you so much for coming back to my YouTube channel. And if it's your first time, go ahead, click subscribe so you can hear what I got to say on a regular basis. So, I'm working on my new video for my birthday, which is in 2 days. And basically the way I'm breaking down that video is things that I've learned in the past year of life and how that relates to my travels going forward. So the very first point was related to my blackness and how I'm perceived as a black man, not only abroad but by my own community. One of the biggest issues that I had in the year, and you'll hear a little bit more in my next video about it, is I don't even want to call it hate, but negative comments that I've received from the African American community. So I wanted to go over a few of those comments or private messages or emails and address each point and just let you guys know how I feel about my blackness, my community's criticism of said blackness, and what that actually means. So one of the first comments that I get, and I've received this in different forms on my blog as well as in private emails, is that my experience isn't valid because I come off as a non-threatening black man. Now, I had never heard this concept until maybe 6-7 months ago when I saw an interview with the comedian Ari Spears, and I believe he was speaking about Kevin Hart. The reason Kevin Hart is successful, according to him, is because Kevin Hart is non-threatening. He's not a typical black man. For my work to be invalidated because somebody else believes I'm not black enough or I'm non-threatening, it kind of marginalizes the plight that African American men are going through in the United States. Not only that, but also the plight that African men in general are going through on a global basis, specifically in Europe. When a bigot or a racist looks at me, they don't see, oh, he might be from Ghana, Nigeria, might be from Texas. No, he sees a black man. And for anybody, especially a person of color, to say that my experience as a black man is invalid because my skin's not dark enough only perpetuates the stereotype of what is acceptable for a black man to be or a black man to do. So the next comment I get is, I've been called a sellout because I tend to date non-black women. Now, it's just kind of, this one really throws me off because it's true. It's very much true. My last few girlfriends, Romanian, Chilean, French, and Spaniard, I guess. I don't know. It's a matter of proximity. It really has absolutely nothing to do with preferring women of non-blackness. It has to do with proximity. The last woman of color, like the last woman, black woman that I've met in my travels and had a conversation and really hit it off with, was Gloria Tamo from a blog abroad, which I met in Bangkok, and we hung out that night. I didn't even see her, but she's cool, and we've been talking off and on. But that's my dating pool if I was forced to only date black women. Like, it's like 4 black women who travel full-time and blog about it in my career. So it's really just a matter of proximity, yo. Like, it has absolutely nothing to do with me not loving black women. So a more recent one is that I've been told that I've turned my back on Black America because I don't tweet or post about the hashtag Black Lives Matters movement or anything that has to do with Black America's struggle against police brutality. First of all, I fully support the Black Lives Matters movement. What I do not support is the extremists within the Black Lives Matters movement, and that's a personal thing. When it comes to activism within the black community, for me, I choose to have my own form of activism and do things my way. I'm more of a precision kind of change things from the inside kind of guy. That's my personal brand of activism. I do things behind the scenes. I don't have to plaster my Facebook wall with memes or quotes or mean tweets to support the struggle or to support the community. Nobody has any idea how much money I've donated. Nobody has any idea who I've spoken with, what quotes I've given, or other things that I've done behind the scenes to support this movement. So for people to say that I've turned my back on Black America, it couldn't be further from the truth, specifically regarding the movement. Now, am I a little bit out of touch with what's going on back home? Yes, because I don't live in the United States anymore. I'm not an expat, but I'm never home anymore. So when you're out of the United States and you don't see the stories on plastered in front of you every single day, every minute, every day, I'm not saying you forget, or I'm not saying I haven't forgot. It's just that I'm looking at other things on an international level. Like, everything that goes on back home is very important to me, but also my mentality is global as opposed to national anymore. So if you don't see a ton of stuff on my social media channels about Black Lives Matter, which I have posted about, by the way, Black Lives Matter or police brutality or social justice issues, it's not because I've forgotten. It's just because that I pick very, very carefully on what I do and do not post. Another comment I get all the time, and really this has been kicking up in the past year or so, I'm a sellout because I haven't gone to more African nations. Granted, I was just in South Africa. And I did a few pieces on South Africa, and I absolutely love South Africa. And I consistently write top 5 pieces or top 10 reviews, or I'll do an interview where people always ask me what's my favorite country. And it's never an African country. African countries, South Africa just made my top 5 list of African nations. So you want to know why I haven't been to more African nations? Because it's fucking crazy in Africa. Like, it's nuts. Not only is a civil war always on the edge of popping off there, it's also expensive to travel within Africa. Like, it is really expensive to get from one country to another. And I am not about to go through overland through a civil war torn region. That's fucking stupid. So until I make more money doing what I do for a living, or get more opportunities to go to African nations, like the press trip I took to South Africa for 2 weeks, then I won't be going to African nations. That's not because I don't have a desire to go. I have a huge desire to go. But it's practicality. I go to Asia and Europe a lot because it's so easy to get between those countries. Plus, clients in those places pay you. That's what I do for a living. I travel and I write and I create digital content and I consult on travel for a living. Once African nations and companies start paying me or inviting me, then I will go to African nations more often. So this one is crazy. And yeah, my friends had thought it was nuts also. So I've been told that I'm more than likely an undercover brother because I support gay rights and I go to gay events. So those of you guys who are new to my blog or my work know that may not know this, but last year I worked with a campaign called #MyGayPride as a straight ally. So basically I wrote what it's like to go to gay pride events as a straight man. I worked with all gay and lesbian travel bloggers, and yeah, I went to Barcelona and Copenhagen. I was only able to make 2 out of the 3. Oh, excuse me. And I wrote that these were some of the most eye-opening experiences that I had ever had. I am admittedly, well, I was a very homophobic person because I was raised to be homophobic. I was taught to be homophobic. When I joined the military, I was homophobic. And the military culture further enforced the homophobic upbringing that I had. So, but through travel and exposure and interaction with the LGBTI community, I realized how ridiculous homophobia is. I realized that it's stupid, and I don't care if I offend anybody. It's fucking stupid to say that you support civil rights, you support black rights, you support women's rights as a feminist, but you don't support gay rights. That's fucking stupid. And go ahead and, oh, please comment about Jesus, etc., etc. If you support civil rights, you support gay rights. Period. There's no sneaking around the point. I support black rights, women's rights, religious freedom, gay rights. Those are the things that I support. If you don't like it, that's okay. But to say that I'm probably gay because I support gay people, come on. And last but not least, this has come up a couple of times, that, and more so in person, that I don't understand blackness or what it's like to be black because my father wasn't black. Let me clarify this. Okay, my father isn't black. My father is Puerto Rican, of Puerto Rican descent, and my mother's black. I've seen in my lifetime, I'm 30, I'll be 33 in 2 days. I've seen my father 4 times. He had absolutely zero impact on my upbringing, which is why my Spanish is for shit. I was raised by my stepfather, Jerome Parker, who's very black, my uncle Scooter, who's very Malcolm X black, and my uncle Eddie, who could be like, if Menace to Society like had a casting again, they will probably pick my uncle right up off the street. I was raised by black men and black women. I was raised in East Cleveland, Ohio. Anybody who's been to East Cleveland, Ohio, and grew up in East Cleveland, Ohio, and could tell me that I don't know what it's like to be black, I don't even know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you. So those are just a few of the comments that I regularly get on my blog, my social media channels, in email, and sometimes in person. Depends on how bold the people are. But here's what it comes down to. And people are going to be pissed that I said this. There is no standard of blackness. There's no fucking checklist like, oh, you do this, you do that, and you speak like this, and you walk like this, and you think like this. But some people pretend that it is. Like, you have to act a certain way to be accepted within our community at times. And it's sad because it's true. You have Barack Obama, you have Will Smith, you have Derek Luke, you have Fetty Wap, you have Drake. You have these men whose blackness is constantly being judge. Like, are they black enough? Are they too black? Are they making black men look bad? Are they making black men look great? Are they setting us back a generation? What would Martin Luther King think about them? We are constantly internally dividing ourselves into these subsets and groups of blackness and who's more black and who's more real. And that's the reason you have so many confused kids who have absolutely no idea who they are, because they're forced to try to fit into this little bubble. So if you don't feel that I'm black enough, this video isn't for you. You probably already tuned down anyway. But I want to say this to those kids or people who feel ostracized and picked on. Stop trying to be black enough. Stop trying to be white enough or Latino enough or gay enough or feminist enough. Just try to be good enough for yourself. Don't worry about what everybody else thinks of you. You decide who you are and who you're going to be and what you stand for. Because as soon as you start to let other people dictate that, you lose your identity and who you are. So I'm going to leave you guys at that. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble on. Comment below if you disagree with me or if you agree with me. If you had anything like this happen to you before, I'd love to chat with you guys. So don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.